Aaron Sparrow here. You may know me as the writer of Darkwing Duck or Death Rage or the upcoming Kneel Before Doomface. And I just want to go ahead and tell you right now that Fantastic Comics is the greatest comic shop to ever exist in the history of this universe or any other universe.
Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. It's been 3 long years. Do ya still want me? If I don't see a ribbon round the old oak tree, I'll stay on the bus, forget about us, put the blame on me.
Did you know that every 7 minutes a black person is born in this country without soul? Hello, I'm B.B. King. Won't you help Don Simmons and the thousands of others that suffer from this tragic disorder? Its cruel symptoms can strike anyone. Let's take a look.
I think the Republican Party has done one heck of a job. Don't you, June?
I'll say, Ward, we Republicans have turned this country around.
Safety and good mileage are the 2 things I looked for in a new car. That's why I bought a Volvo station wagon.
Hi, I'm president of the David Hartman fan club here in Glendale. I've even met David Hartman once. What a neat guy.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cherry. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheru. Good luck will rub off when I shake hands with you.
This is B.B. King saying, won't you please give, so that Don Simmons here and so many others can become useful members of society.
Or below me a kiss, and that's lucky too.
Right to blacks without soul. Post Office Box 1305A, Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
They think I'm crazy, but I know better. It is not I who am crazy. It is I who am mad.
Arriba!
Ride, caballero! Ride, amigo! Arriba! 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 I like these guys. They're funny guys. Arriba! Just kill one of them.
And do you think Phantom Menace is as good a movie as Empire?
Well, certainly. I think it's the best movie I've made yet.
Permission to treat this witness as hostile. Mr. Lucas, how do you explain that in Star Wars, Obi-Wan tells Luke that when he met his father, he was a great pilot, but in Menace, he's just a little boy?
My kids thought.
And how come Obi-Wan tells Luke that Yoda is the Jedi that trained him, but in the movie, Liam Neeson trains Obi-Wan?
The power of myth.
Isn't it true you knew this was a bad movie? That you wrote it over a weekend but kept telling people it was done for years?
Objection, Your Honor. The pod race was pretty cool.
Does he sing in English or Russian?
In English. Come on, Berserker. Girls think sexy. I'll watch. Wait, he's gonna sing and watch. It's too funny.
My love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
That's fucking funny, man.
Did he say making fuck?
John, the kind of control you're attempting is, it's not possible. Listen, if there's one thing in the history of evolution. John, the kind of control you're attempting is, it's not possible. Listen, if there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, there it is. There it is.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of female animals will breed?
No, I'm simply saying that life, finds a way.
I thought if Casanova and I had nothing to say to each other, he'd get bored. Go away. Instead, he uses it as a chance to put his testicles all over me.
His what?
how you say, octopus, testicles.
No, tentacles. NT. Tentacles.
Tentacles.
There's a big difference.
What?
Registered commies, not guns.
Oh, he was probably a member of the National Rifle Association. There was a group that helped criminals get guns so they could shoot citizens. It was a public service.
Holy moly, look at my date! She's a supervillain! Possibly a Medusa. Dean, I am not kidding. She has rope for hair and a shiny costume. Oh, not fair, she's wearing goggles! Told you she would dig my Batman suit, but no.
Throw out your hands, stick out your tush, hands on your hips, give 'em a push. You'll be surprised you're doing the French mistake. Voila!
Shit. Have you got it?
Yes.
Sounds like steam escaping.
Bread, $2 extra.
$2, but everyone in front of me got free bread.
You want bread?
Yes, please.
$3. What? No soup for you.
I'm married to a woman.
These are all my regulars. You strike me as a angry top. I'm clean, but you do have to glove up unless you're down for some frottage.
Frottage?
It's French for rubbing our dicks together.
I'm a little worried about your son, Bob.
We're sorry. I'm sorry, too.
There's no need to apologize, but let me ask you, what's the situation like at home?
It's fun. We get to run around and paint.
That seems healthy.
Yeah, I'm strong. Like a Hulk.
You worked at All American Burger.
7 months ago.
I knew it.
Why don't you get a job, Spicoli?
What for?
You need money.
All I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'm fine.
All right, come out or I'll blast you out.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and then it's full of pep. We're gonna start with high jump. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. This is our 238th consecutive, well, almost consecutive episode. There was a few weeks there where I took a little bit of a break. Not exactly all in a row, but, you know, you got to do it sometimes. But Yule, it's your day off. It sure is. But I had stuff to do in Berkeley, and I had to go by the store afterwards, and I wanted to check in and see what it looked like. For those of you that are new here, my name is Yule, and you know what? Let me just play this video real quick.
My name is Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. I'm a comic book retailer, Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. This isn't just a comic book show about comic books and some dude's perception of them. Oh, I've got opinions, and I'm going to tell you all about them. I also own a comic store, and when you hear things about things not selling or people going out there and letting you know about the business and stuff like that, maybe, just maybe, I can be your little dose of sanity. Understanding that I live in the Fantastic Comics bubble. And it is on YouTube, it's on social media, and it's the customers that come in the store and, you know, the area. But it isn't really super far reaching like those stores that have online sales or eBay stores or crazy amounts of employees and space. I'd have it no other way. Well, maybe I'd have it another way, but you know, that's just not a reality right now. But that's okay. I think things are looking up. If it wasn't for the fact that there was all this construction that's been going on in our area, and it's been difficult for like over a month now. And I wasn't able to open the store on Sunday because they chose that, you know, this last Sunday to be the first weekend where they were going to be working. And this is after like many months. And so I came in on Sunday and did a quick live stream just before and slightly crossing over into Eric O'Sullivan's live stream that he does on Sundays. I know I wasn't trying to step on anybody there, but sometimes you just gotta let the people know what's going on. And we had Lane Kramer on for a few minutes, and then it was a nice little quick show, quick opening. I feel like as far as telling a story, with all the episodes that I've done, with all the preparation, a lot of times no preparation, when I thought I had like thought it out in my brain to where I'd come live on the show and not be able to tell you anything about what happened or get it out the right way, I feel like it was one of my most concise thoughts. I mean, it was only it, you know what I mean? And it was pretty good. So you should, if you want to see it, it'll be up for a little while. But yeah, so that was a Sunday. Oh, I couldn't believe that they were working. So I went by the store today and I wanted to see what it was like. But you know, just give you an idea of what it sounded like. Let me see. Hopefully this can come across. This is all off my phone, you know. So here it is. If anybody wants to come into your store, well, that was on a Friday. That was not Sunday. So I went by today. Obviously, I had to get some of the work done so that I could be ready for y'all tomorrow. And I played a little Pokemon. So this is what it looked like before. Ugh. And you can't see where those guys are working, but they're all opened up on the sidewalk, and it's right in front of the store. And you can see how they put partition in between the only portal, the only spot they put partition, caution tape is right where the door was, and they put it up after I had gone in. So I knew I was like not really wanting to be there this Sunday. Anyway, this is what it looked like today as I was playing Pokemon. Yeah, look at that. So we had a really nice little sidewalk area because the other parts of the sidewalk aren't necessarily so great. But this is where we like sit out and hang out after hours. There's just a big old grate there. It's like, yeah. But I powered up my Porygon Z and played a little Pokemon while I was there also. I mean, my figure's falling over. So I think there's still going to be some construction, but it's more on the other. It's going to be fucked as far as driving in. So just beware. We're past the street sweeping days, I do believe. Yeah, we've passed 2 Wednesdays and 2 Tuesdays, so we should be okay. Just going to be kind of difficult. So bear with me for hopefully 1 more week. Jesus. All right, let's talk about our first subject. Yeah, we talk about wrestling here on the show. We talked about wrestling Sunday, and I said, it was really quick. Everything was quick. And AEW, what's their contract going to look like? And I went over to 411 Mania, and it's suggested that next week we should be hearing as far as a deal actually being announced. But it's really getting up to nitty gritty time as far as getting an extension, and everybody's worried about the WB and what their plans are for their television. And it seems like it's it feels very much like when WCW was going under, and whoever took over during the merge between Warner Brothers and Time Warner and all that stuff. WCW got embroiled in that, and it pretty much killed the company, and Vince was able to buy the dregs for pennies and make plenty of money on the backs of all the WCW people who are on the videotapes and the network and all that stuff. So what's AEW going to do? Well, supposedly they're going to be still with WBD. Maybe possibly they'll get slightly more money than they had originally. I guess that'll be a win. And for people that care about that type of thing, it sounds like True TV is going to be involved, which I was like, oh, what is that? It's a Warner Brothers Discovery entity. And yeah, there you go. I did not watch any WWE. SmackDown isn't on Fox anymore, which means it's not on Hulu anymore. And it's on USA, but we don't have cable here at the house, and I just don't really care that much. What are you going to do? Raw is going to be moving to Netflix soon anyway, so I don't really need Hulu. Prices are going up on Hulu. Whoops. Someone got screwed. And that's pretty much it. That's the Wrestling Minute. I think that was like a legitimate minute, right? So I haven't really put a whole lot of effort into the show. I put the all the pictures we're going to need to see, other than those last minute ones. They're already up, and I have some conversation. Something I saw on the internet that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be upset about was, I saw this on the X. And this is about a Marvel program that's starting up. and it was like the red carpet or whatever, and one of the actors was being interviewed, and this was the question that was put out there, so to irk everybody, obviously.
I'm told, I've seen the first episode, but Agatha is the gayest Marvel project yet. Do you agree?
It better be, because that's what I signed up for.
There you go. That's what I signed up for. She's got a cane. Maybe I didn't clip it. You know what? I don't think I had anything bad. It was funny because I was telling Jill about that. And I said, well, the thing about Agatha is that she's it's really the whole Marvel thing, I say that and now I'm thinking of Robert Downey Jr. He was not a young guy. He plays a little bit younger, but everybody's so, like when they did the Batman movies and they had the Christian Bale, and it just seemed like all of a sudden the superheroes were starting to get a whole lot younger. And in the comic books, they aren't really all the time. And so here you have that Agatha, and there's going to be like young people in it. And this is the original picture of Agatha. And there you go. That's a nice, looks like a John Byrne, if you ask me. And this person's this is Agatha Harkness. But I mean, like Cable was older, but they youthed him up. But they always do it. Magneto was older, but then they made him young. Charles Xavier was older. They made him young. Reed Richards was always old. He had the graying temples and stuff like that. Of course, you're going to be a scientist. It's going to take many years to be, you're not going to be like, it can't have a whole bunch of Wonderkins, right? It's just, it's just a special part of this universe. The reality is, and I mean, it's for anything. If you like something that was a stage play or a musical, or if you like something that was a movie, or I don't know, a podcast, and it gets made into another thing, it's going to lose some of what, I mean, there's very few moments where like the movie is better than the book. I mean, you have to be pretty well read to be able to like, I can't imagine that the Notebook movie is any worse than the book. So it's probably, it's got some star appeal, but when you get like to The Shining, that's like superior to the book, right? Things like that. But more often than not, if you're going to watch a Moby Dick, you're going to want to read the book. But then, of course, you have your mini series and things like that. But there's always reasons why you don't want to like be super faithful to something sometimes. But what I really think is, why do it at all? Also, why do it at all? Because what it originally was what it originally was. Do something original. And it's hard to find that in comics. It's hard to find that in a lot of things, but it also, I think, comes with age. You've just kind of seen a lot of stuff and nothing really new. And it's just the genre that's popular today. And we'll have a little brief nostalgic, return. And then people are like, all right, I'm kind of done with that. And then it will be made into a 10 episode series on Netflix or something that will get canceled after the first season. Or what? All right, I guess I rambled enough. Let's see if I can do this for each and every one of you.
Hello. 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 Oh. Go. Look out. Hello.
What's the adaptation that you were most Like you love this. You're like, oh my God, this is the thing. A song. Hell no, a song that's made into a movie. And then you're like, okay, there's going to be a thing of this, and that you actually enjoyed. So you like something, and then it got, do you like spam a lot? I don't know. First up, Fantinuum. Yo, wait and see. I'll wait and see if the city of Berkeley will get their act together and let you all open his church. Exactly. The Reverend must spread the comics gospel, freedom of religion. Let me tell you, everybody. Ooh, baby. I'm like looking at my bank account. I was expecting the weekend to occur in full. I'm okay. It's just, things. The Lifted Lord. Looking forward to NCBD tomorrow. Last week was such a gong show. Finally fired Ultimate Black Panther from my polls. Oh, that's too bad. I liked a bunch of books last week, but I read them early, so it's kind of hard to remember. But we're going to talk about the ones that sold well in the store, or I really liked, and more than likely it sold pretty well. Eric O'Sullivan, I liked Fantastic Four 25 last week. I had no problems with it. It was a modern take on a classic sci-fi spin, in love with an alien. Oops for Gizmo. That's right. Eric O'Sullivan, he can find the good in anything. And seriously, Johnny Storm, he's a himbo, I think they say. Do they still say that? Jelly Pill in the other room. Hello. Dwayne Muth. Hello, you all in chat. Looking forward to Ultra Mega number 5 by James Heron for sure. Walk, sup with it. Walk, how you feeling? Did you take the test? Do you think you not need to? Am I going to see you tomorrow or when? Mark Howd, here a little late, was listening to Dog and Cat eating parody songs. There is a Simpson one. Dun 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 dun. They're eating dogs and cats in Springfield. Oh yeah, there you go. Last dog in Springfield. There you go. That caution tape is to warn people about Yule. Oh yeah, most definitely. At least it's not supposed to rain tomorrow. It's supposed to drizzle tonight. That's what I heard. Let's talk about Diddy. LOL. 1,000 bottles of baby oil. LOL. He's going to need it when he's in prison for life. You don't think he'll be taken care of, don't you think? P. Diddy? Although if the rumors are to be believed, there's probably some youthful folk. So that some younglings. Can I say younglings? Is that okay? So yeah, that's not supposed to be cool, right? I mean, it's not cool. But I mean, in prison. Mark Howd, Agatha should flip through meme. Oh, let me see. Should flip through meme at the start instead of comics. I think Marissa Tomei's Aunt May started the young trend. There you go. And she was young for sure. I mean, compared to Aunt May. Although I was not a fan of the casting for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It's Tobey Maguire. He was the first one, right? That Aunt May, I'm like, she doesn't have to be. She wasn't like always looking like that lady was never going to look youthful at all. You know what I mean? Aunt May comes back. She bounces back. It snaps back. Lane Kramer. Hey, fantastic comicers. Well, hello, Lane Kramer. And Dwayne Muth. Agatha's first appearance in 94, Halloween issue. She lives up on Whisper Hill with her familiar Ebony. And how cool would that look in a TV show or movie? I'm done with that vacuous crap. Amen. Give me wrinkles. How about something like I mean, seriously, what was so bad about the original, or what was so good about the original that you just want to? I mean, is it too strong to say pervert it? to not adhere to it. Now, when we're getting to like that Lord of the Rings stuff, I know that there's like financial or not legal obligations and restrictions. Again, then you have to ask yourself, well, why do it? There's some other property that's out there that you can do. And you're already doing that with like a Robert Jordan one, and you're fucking that one from what I understand. That's just, if you can believe anybody or everybody that says anything about anything. Yeah, vacuous. I agree. But again, I think that kind of comes with age. The thing is though, like Stan Lee was probably some of the age of some of the people, when he was doing Marvel Comics. We kind of feel like he's always old, and he is always old. He's been old for like a long time. I mean, obviously he's dead now, but up until then, he had been old for like 20 or 30 years. Like, oh, Stan Lee's writing that. Oh, they're dusting this guy off so that they can have some reason to have him, work for Marvel still. Shit, I didn't even open a beer yet. Just talking. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Thanks for joining me afterwards also, everybody. We're going to talk about some new comic books, but first, let's talk about some comics from last week that were pretty good. As I pour this, I'll do it up here so you can see. Oh, man. Went fast at the end. I knew I could do it. All right. Let's talk about some runners up. We're going in the point four. Point four, yeah, point four. Ooh, I just read this one. I maybe would have put this a little bit higher. X-Men, Uncanny X-Men #2. Who are the Outliers? Why, they are a kick-ass group of new characters that Gail Simone has created, along with David Marquez. And man, the artwork on this is phenomenal. So good, so good. Highly recommend this book. It's a shame it's a runner-up. Let's see. Runner-up number... Well, we have a bunch of them. This sold really well. Sorry, Illithid Lore. I haven't read it yet, but we sold out, and I have to get more. So stay tuned. A book that I didn't think was going to sell out and did. Steve Orlando was a hit on the first issue of Avengers Assemble. It's just a 5-issue mini, and if you missed out, we can get more, or you might just want to wait for the trade already. And lastly, another book I didn't read but sold really, really well. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2, and I did reorder more. So never fear. I will have more in the store. Jason Aaron is writing it, and each issue has a different illustrator. Oh, I guess this is the #5 book, I guess. All right, cool. Next, coming in at #4, Transformers #12, a good seller still. They shorted me issues, and I think there was a reason at the printer for that. So if you didn't get them, you better hurry up and get yours. Especially, if you don't, you got to come on in and get it before I sell out, because if I don't pull it for you, it will sell out. And by all means, this by everything I've heard, this is doing very, very well in story. And very exciting news, Daniel Warren Johnson, the writer of this, is still going to be doing the next 12 issues. So we've got another whole year of Daniel Warren Johnson. More on him in just a moment. Coming in at #3, Wolverine #1. I read this. I think I told you that last week. Martin Kokolo on art and Saladin Ahmed on writing. This was really good. It was a no nonsense Wolverine story. He's in like a Canadian forest or something like that, and there's people he's trying to save and a cool bad guy from the past that if you've read the old Marvel Comics Presents stuff when Sam Keith was drawing it, you're definitely going to want to check this out. Also, I think I all but sold out, and I'm getting more of the foil, which is like a $12 book, but I had people asking for it. It's one of those Gleason side portraits like he did for that really cool Spider-Man. It's going to be worth it if you get it. Next up at number 2, another book I had already read, Summer Shadows #1. This is a Dark Horse comic set in Greece. And I just there's vampires, everybody. Can you not tell by the M's? But it's cool. I enjoyed it. It was well written by somebody I don't know. I like the artwork a lot by someone I don't know. And it's just a little mini series. And I don't usually do a whole lot of horror. I really don't usually do a whole lot of vampire stuff. But it was hit enough to where I was like, all right, this is unfolding properly. And I enjoy this. So it's very well done. It's good if you like the LGBTQ stuff also. And coming in at number 1, I know, bucking the trend, Zeb Wells on Amazing Spider-Man number 57, John Romita Jr. on artwork. This is leading up to their very last issue together on this book. Maybe John Romita Jr.'s last run on Spider-Man. It's ending with a bang. I like the last storyline with the Green Goblin, and all the Tombstone stuff that Zeb Wells has been doing has been really good also. And this is a Tombstone story. And there's twists and turns. And you thought you knew what was going to happen. And if that happened last issue, guess what? It happens this issue too. And those were my store and my best of last week. If you don't like that, too bad. Yeah, let me get rid of those that banner. Let me get rid of those pictures. I'll go to comments. Corey. Oh, wait. Corey. Late to the party, but checking in now. Excellent, Corey. I talked to ATN yesterday. Him and myself and Philip and a new partner in crime for at least a few months are going to be getting the sci-fi fantasy-esque thing back together again. And we're going to see how that goes. So I'll be telling more of you all about that later. Wait, why did it do that? That was weird. Hold on a second. I thought I could do 2 things at once, but the computer couldn't, obviously. All right. Live the lore. Only good comic I read last week was Transformers. Yeah, exactly. If every comic for me, I'd be buying like 60 comics. Dude, I cannot. Look, I understand the need and desire to want to collect things, and that's perfectly okay. So I'm not slamming anybody. But the idea of what I really like and what I'm really gonna have the time to get to is I'm starting to think about that. That's really bad for me to tell you all that because we're collectors, right? The thing about collecting is that a part of it is keeping it for that next person that you can pass along to. Because, one of my customers likes to tell me about comics history, and I'm receptive to it. But other friends of mine might not be as receptive to that. And, that's sad. So when little gems come around and he's like, oh, I don't know if I really want this anymore. And I know you're really good. I could probably make some money of it. You can make some money off of it, but you could also have it. Well, for a while, I'm going to be having this Mystery Men San Diego 1995 preview. Bob Burden writing and Steve Sadowski on artwork. And the Mystery Men was a Ben Stiller movie with Janine Garofalo and a whole bunch of other people. And it all stems from the Flaming Carrot, which I often will have on the spinner rack behind me, depending on the turn this time. Cool. I do that too. Whoa, you know what? One of the things I used to do is, maybe when the construction's finally over, I can do it again. I would read a comic book and I would start trying to pass it on to people. And if it came back, I pass on to another person because it's a really good one. I have a real banged up Legion of Superheroes annual #1, the Keith Giffen stuff. You know, there's a with Invisible Kid, the Frenchie. I'll pass that one along to somebody. Buy and read what you enjoy exactly. Cole, I really enjoyed Geiger last week. Excellent. Good to hear. I know a lot of people are really enjoying the Ghost Machine. There's going to be a few other books coming out. One of them by Francis Manapul. I like his art a lot. Oh yeah, and this issue was all about the two-headed wolf. Is that what it is? Is that Summer Shadows cover by Michael Janin? It might be. I'm not sure actually. Yanin, Mikkel. This week will be a big week. Yeah, it will. Yay, ATN. That's right. Let's see. Going back to Lane. Good discussion with you all on Sunday. That's right. We had a great discussion. And Corey, I am so glad you guys are getting the band back together. That's right. And a new instrument. We got a piano accompaniments. Anyway. Ooh, baby. Some new comics coming out. Let's play the video. Let's see if I can find it.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, something big going on somewhere?
What's going on right here? It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
That's right. You know, don't complain. It's not worth it in life. You don't want to complain. What are you, running for president? I mean, it's beneath us, right? To be president. So if for any reason I can't ring you up on the credit card, you're gonna know why. Let me get these last two pictures up. All right, it's gonna be a big week. Trust me, it's a big week. Especially if you read DC or property comics. Can we all, I mean, I like some of these property comics, and you know, I love Joe Casey and he's on the Johnny Quest, and I'm always down with the Johnny Quest comic book. I like Space Ghost. I'm not reading this one, but you know, I'm down with Space Ghost, and I hear there's going to be a Thundar one. Now I'm really super excited about that. But you know, we're getting so many of them and they're all happening at the same time. And it's not uncommon for like Boom to have a Garfield book, but it's coming out right now as there's, you know, a resurgence of the Turtles, a re-emphasis on it. The Transformers is a big deal right now. G.I. Joe's a big deal right now. These are all really good, and it's kind of like what I think it was the Lithidor said. If I was going to like everything, you know, I'd have to get 60 comics, and it's like you can't do that. But maybe this is that trend, you know. Maybe this is the thing that needs to kick superheroes in the butt. But one of the best comics that I've sold recently was that Aliens Avengers. And then that Doom one shot, because of the whole MF Doom bit, you know, that was super hot. Just things. Anyway, Superman coming out tomorrow, part of the Absolute Power tie-in. It is almost over. All In is almost here, and I have gone hot and heavy on Absolute Batman. So don't let me down, people. I demand all of you to come in and buy a copy of Absolute Batman. I demand it. How can you leave my store without getting that? You say you like superhero comics? You say you like Batman? Wait, you don't like superhero comics and you don't like Batman? All right, you don't have to. They don't. If you only buy Saga or something from Chip Zdarsky that isn't Daredevil, all right, I'm okay with it. Yeah, James Tynion. If you're only buying distillery books or something from Cullen Bunn, otherwise, absolute Batman. It's make or break time, people. That's what DC should be doing. See, I'm selling it better than DC. Oh my goodness, Wonder Woman number 13, an absolute power tie-in once again. Ooh, you put Booster Gold on the cover, and I'm always interested. But knowing Tom King, he's just going to want him to suicide himself or something again. Anyway, Wonder Woman. Avengers number 18, guest starring the X-Men, because, Storm's in the book now. And, so's Hyperion. Wow, look at that piece right there. So metal. So much metal, golden metal. Hyperion's like, oh, my world's not the way I thought it was, and I'm going mad. And he's like the strength of Superman, but he's a numbskull. Real, 10-cent, 10-cent brain and $1 million body. That's what that guy is. Ultimate X-Men number 7, Peach Momoko. Did you know Momoko means peach? X-Men number 4, Jed McKay. Already have a new artist on this one, so Ryan Stegman haters can rejoice. I actually haven't checked this one out yet, but I'm enjoying this I'm actually enjoying a lot of this X-Men stuff. How much longer can I keep up with it, though, is really the question. Next up, we have Incredible Hulk number 17. Once again, anybody that doesn't read this because Nick Klein is not on the book, you can rejoice because Nick Klein is back on the book. And you were fools for not having read the last 2 issues by Danny Earls. Irish Pride. This good art, good writing. I like this stuff. The Hulk is cool, and it's got skinwalkers, so don't worry, Walk. I got it for you. Dark Knights of Steel All Winter number 3. Oh man, what a cool cover. I dig it. Batman is like a knight. That's cool. A fighter knight. Another X book, X Factor number 2 comes out tomorrow. Once again, I'm a big Mark Russell fan, and I like the first issue. It was somewhat reminiscent of like Ecstatics back when Peter Milligan did that, or X-Force back when Peter Milligan did it. Kind of like trying to like rehab the mutant name through social media and all around good vibes. Marketing. That's what I meant. Hey, Polaris is here. Oh, I wonder if she has something to say about Havoc. When doesn't she? I liked it. I thought it was a good first issue, and nuts to those that didn't like it. Dazzler number 1. Why, if you go out there on the socials, you'll know this is one of the worst miniseries debuts ever. But if you like Dazzler and a bunch of different covers, you're going to be wanting to come into the store early. There was one by Art Germ, and I have a customer that gets art. Well, I pull Art Germs for him in 5 counts because he might want them. And if he doesn't, I'll have more. But let me tell you, he's not gonna return any of them. So you better come in and get the Art Germs I already have. Or this one. Nice cover. Destro number 4 of 5. Again, talking about all those property comics that we're getting. We're going to be getting a ton of them. But I think Robert Kirkman, obviously, really, we don't need Yule saying it. You can take a look around, and Kirkman's got there's a buzz about the comics that are coming out with his Hasbro line of comics, his Energon universe. And I think he's doing a really good job. And another person who's doing a really good job over at Kirkman's Skybound is G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, written by Larry Hama. Paul Pelletier is the guest artist until no, it's not Wild Goose. It's see, it's been so long I can't remember. Mooneyham, I think his name is, on art. He'll be coming back. Nonetheless, it looks really good too. And what is that? Zartan? Is that who that is? And Baroness, excellent. I don't know who the other dude is. Absolute Power Super Sun 1. I think it's a one shot. I don't think this is a mini series. So if you absolutely needed to have an Absolute Power book, don't you worry, don't you fret. Super Sun is out tomorrow. So is Jenny Sparks, the 6-issue miniseries by Tom King. All right, Soups is in this one. The first one did really well for me, but I was not a fool. I did not order the same amount of number 2. So if you didn't get it on your hold, then you better come on in and get it. Because if you're an Authority fan, a Tom King fan, or you're like nuts to all those people, I just love Superman appearances, this is the book for you. Thundercats number 8 is definitely not the book for me, but I can take a look at the sales and it's definitely something you guys like. You got DNA covers, you got J. Lee covers, and I'm sure it's going to be a little bit later in the day than when I first come in. I told you we're going to have some Daniel Warren Johnson talk. Here we have The Moon is Following Us with Riley Rossmo. And I know, there's a lot of people out there that like to rip on Riley Rossmo. But if you're the kind of person that says, I like somebody that does something just a little bit different. Or you know how you got all right, so let me be real with you for a second. So Batman was always drawn like Don Newton and Jim Aparo. And later on it was Graham Nolan. It was like the DC style, like a certain way that the character kind of had to look, you know what I mean? And then Jim Lee comes on it. Now, Jim Lee is a little bit more traditional than what I'm talking about. But now if you can allow yourself to like something by like a Brandon Graham, if you've seen his artwork, there were a lot of people that didn't like when Eric Canetti worked on Spider-Man. Or Damon Scott on Spider-Man. Damon Scott did Batgirl. I think it was the Cassandra, whatever her name was. The one that didn't talk. They had the stitching. That's what this means, stitching on the mouth. Damon Scott was working on that. He has a really cool graffiti style. And when he got to do like 3 issues of a Spider-Man, it's like, holy shit, this is the greatest thing ever. Because you're not going to see this very often. Because, more often than not, it's going to be Jim Mooney, or I can't think of his name, but it really doesn't matter. Al Milgrom. It's not going to be somebody a little bit different like Larry Stroman when he goes on X Factor, or like Joe Quesada when he goes on X Factor. They warp the faces just a little bit, and it just doesn't look normal. And anybody just like, I gotta have my stuff look very staunch and very specific and direct, like always, like a catalog. Then you're not gonna like Riley Rossmo. That's right. I said if you don't like Riley Rossmo, you might as well just be looking at a catalog. And he's going to be doing The Moon is Following Us with the greatest writer that works in comics today. Unfortunately, he's also the greatest artist that works in comics today. So if he's not doing the art, a lot of people aren't going to be as into this one. Nonetheless, you should do yourself a favor and check this one out. Epitaph from the Abyss, number 3. Oh, number 2, I mean. This is part of Oni Comics EC horror line. And they have, it's an anthology. There's a bunch of stuff going on, and it's new people working on old material, old style material, I should say, at least doing their attempt at it. It's been selling pretty well for me, so you might want to check it out. If you like anthologies, if you like horror, I just can't do too much. Got Summer Shadows, you know what I mean? Spirits of Vengeance continues from the Ghost Rider Final Vengeance miniseries that just ended by Benjamin Piercy. This is, I don't know who's writing this. It doesn't matter. I think this is multiple stories. It's like multiple Ghost Riders. Can you not tell? Paranoid Gardens #3 by Gerard Way. Let me get that banner down. I want to see what that other dude's name is. I always say some group. Sean Simon. He's a dude from another group. Gerard Way is a guy from a group, music group that kind of sing songs and stuff like that. Chris West. Funny enough, Dave Stewart is not the Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics. He's the Dave Stewart that does the coloring. And one of the only colorists that really deserves being on a comic book cover. And then Chris Weston is doing the art, and he's just awesome. Really great stuff. And Paranoid Gardens is one of my favorite books that's coming out right now. Depending on if we can get 3 more issues before the year's over, I might say this is the best comic that came out this year. Depending on how I feel about this one. So, check it out. I have 1, and a couple number 2s. So if you haven't purchased any, you can pick them all up. Or if you have got them, I should have enough for all the people that have at least purchased it in the store. But don't be a loser. Come pick this one up. If you like a weird kind of what's going on, sort of superhero, alien, sci-fi, weird stuff going, it's a good book. Luther Manning, Deathlock. It's a 1-issue one-shot. It's a 1-issue miniseries. Christopher Priest is working on it. We got Dennis Cohen. They both have worked on Deathlock in the past. We got Dale Eaglesham, Carlos Paguliland. It's that Ireland. I can't remember. Not Kathy, though, unfortunately. Why did they ever let her write comics? Anyway, if you like Deathlock, if you like mangled cybernetic African Americans, Black individuals, then you might want to check this one out. Ultra Mega by James Herron. With color art by Dave Stewart, once again. Not the guy from the Eurythmics. Funny enough, Dave Stewart from the Eurythmics actually did write a comic book. Let me know in chat if you know what that comic is. Don't look it up. Ultra Mega, finally back. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Nation. That's right. Yule sold out of number 2 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new series. So, do you think he went heavy on this one? This side story, not written by Jason Aaron? No, I did not. But if you already are getting Turtles pulled for you, I'm pulling it for you. Otherwise, it's going to be on the shelf for as long as it is. And lastly, oh my gosh, another one. See, guys, this is the theme. This is really what it is. Holy shit, Thundercats Chitara. Nice cover. I can't remember who the Lee is, but the cover artist is the same person. It's not Stan. It's some woman. I can't remember the name, but Chitara's selling well, as well as Thundercats. It's got the character that most people are into having sex with in comic books, I think. Anthropomorphic. I mean, who do you think? Like, seriously, if we pulled all the people that have ever seen Thundercats, most likely to bang, Chitara or Lion-O, and then none of the other, maybe Panthro, if you're kind of Leather Daddy kind of style. But yeah, Chitara, right? Not me, I'm just joking. And that's new comic books for tomorrow. My buddy Jeff, who used to be on this show, or one of the other shows, he would when we were talking about people being pissed off about like that Thundercats cartoon, the Thundercats Roar, I think it was called. He said, "Oh, everybody's just so upset because they just want to fuck Chitara." I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was like super into like Kitty Pryde and maybe like Starfire. It wasn't in, I mean, I wasn't into them. I mean, I knew they were just cartoon comic book characters, right? Plus, there were some male ones that I was really into also, but I don't think I was that in love with them. Let's go to comments. Flaming Carrot and the Mystery Men. My favorite bit is the flying dead dog and Flaming Carrot chasing it with a 2x4. LOL. That's right. When will we get the Aliens and the Brood of X Fame crossover? Duh. There was some space stuff in the first issue, Ryan. So like they had the Wakandans in space, Black Panther in space. I feel like that's kind of, anytime I say in space, it feels like either Lost in Space or Pigs in Space. And Walk got that doom signed by the Wolf, Maria the Wolf. And I know you need that. Let's see. Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. Cain, of course. They were calling her Orphan. Original series 1 through 37 are recommended reading. There you go. And definitely for art. I know that. Oh yeah, famous picture, Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart of Dodgers and LA Dodgers and Oakland A's fame. He was pitching for the A's, I think, when they faced the Dodgers in the World Series, and I think he got busted for picking up a hooker, I think is what happened. I could be wrong. It was kind of like an Eddie Murphy situation. So you can look into that one. These guys going and picking up hookers. Like, wasn't there a football player that did that? Oh, he's not going to be playing with us on the Super Bowl because he got busted picking up a hooker. Whoops. Don't do that. All right. I guess let me just play this. That's right. It's almost the end of the show. We were Lane and I were talking just a little bit about the comic books that come out. That they're like 5-issue miniseries, and they take place in a little pocket of time that older people probably read. So you got your varying degrees of what older is. They come out as collections are coming out, or as as a way to appease some of the older people that are still on staff, or maybe their older clientele that are like, your comics are leaving me behind and I have nothing to hang on to. And what they'll do is, like Peter David will write things that he wrote. So he wrote Spider-Man stories back when it had the black costume. He was doing Peter Parker, Spectacular Spider-Man. And so they'll get him to do like a black costume story. Or recently they had J.M. DeMatteis do a Venom story. They're having him do a Spider-Man story set in the time when he probably wrote it and stuff like that. They maybe get an illustrator that can like hang with them, or maybe was from that time if they're still around or can do it. Or, they just shop the talent out of country. As they do. But those are often very prevalent also. And I kind of feel like, well, within comic books, if we're talking about all these IPs, so we're getting all these IPs from these different sources, how long before we get another? Is Joss Whedon so canceled that Boom isn't going to do a Buffy the Vampire Slayer or an Angel or something? Because I think they still have the license, and it's time. It's time to get a real big, important Kelly Thompson on that. And we could get some really good art, get those Jenny Frison Buffy covers. Oh, it's just going to be so great. Like we need another Buffy, right? We need another Tomb Raider. We need another, all the stuff that's happened before. What about the video game? At least do the video game that's good now and do a comic book on it, Can't you? I know Titan does some. They do like Last of Us and a few of the other things. I've had a few people come in and ask for them, but it's not something I could really carry on the shelf unless someone's really willing to make the commitment to have me get them for them. But yeah, so in comic books, it is very much like that. Let me put this subscribe. Okay, good. These are all the things you're supposed to do as patrons of watching the show. And if you're interested, you can check us out on I do Instagram and Substack. There's been a new Instagram post or two. There's definitely recently been a new Substack. We're trying to get Peter Bagg to do an interview with us. Would you like to see a Peter Bagg interview? I don't know if I'm ready for something like that. Would I have to bone up? Sorry, I'm like rubbing my hands together. I'm like really super cold or something. So if it's coming across on the microphone, well, I won't do it next week, hopefully. Yeah, so these stories are kind of like the comic book version of other things. The X-Men have moved on since the glory days. Spider-Man's moved on since being married with Mary Jane or the glory days. Anytime he wasn't with Mary Jane. Well, we should do a story back, just before Gwen died, and maybe she gives them a little piece of something that maybe connects to something later on. Something that maybe will be picked up on later. That could be kind of some fun little stuff. But more often than not, this shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like Thundercats doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like a What If doesn't matter or an Elseworlds doesn't matter. Other than it might be something that we enjoy. And really, isn't that all we're asking for? Something to enjoy. I mean, isn't it? Hopefully you like something more than just the cover. But if only that, hopefully you like it. If it's the thing in between. If it's the continuity, hopefully they're at least paying attention to their continuity. That's when things are like, I can, there's plenty of times when I'm reading these comic books and I'm like, man, do these editors really care? Do these writers really care? Is this just a paycheck? Chances are it was just a paycheck for a lot of people in comic books all the time. Just the craft was different. And maybe the attention to detail, the caring, the effort. But there were hacks always. There's always been hacks. Always. It's no different now than it is then, and numbers are always inflated. Speaking of AEW. I don't think I'm like spouting any wise and sage advice or anything. I mean, it's just kind of like, Anna Seni didn't win work in comics. Everybody heralds her as like some. Oh my God, she's the fucking Mother Teresa of comics or something. She shines the light so everybody can know. It's like, all right, I wasn't even that big a fan of Anna Seni, but everybody's like, oh my God, the greatest thing ever. Oh, see, I like a woman. All right, you chose Anna Seni. I mean, I like Wheezy way more. I mean, I know that. Let's get into a fight about. Jill and I were talking about. Funny enough, I was listening to a program or a podcast, and this guy was talking about his mother or actually his grandfather, and how back in all the way in the early 1900s, like 1903 or something, one of the baseball players was traded to the American League, And the National League, when you're a fan of the National League, you're a fan of the National League. You don't like the American League, and vice versa. And the American League are like pretenders. And so, like, there's this whole thing when they played nice, the National League and the American League, and then that player had to go back, and it was just like all sorts of shenanigans going on. And it's a love for one thing and a hatred for another that's passed down from generation to generation, or at least those things were. And what they were saying was, as the interleague happened, numbers soared and people were interested. But the thing is that the World Series at the end of the year, the American League versus the National League. Well, I saw these teams earlier in the year. And every year they're going to always play every team at least once. So, like, whoever they're up against, they already have history 3 months ago, all the way in the beginning of the year, that type of stuff. But it's like, it's less special. The All-Star game is less special. And I feel like that passage of time, things change and less people care. And we see it happen all the time. Like you see a group or an artist, they go all the way up to their top spot, and if they're still around, they're probably starting to come down. There was a time when Sean and didn't just play a fair, or there was a time when a group played fairs, and then now they're playing stadiums, and then eventually they're playing really small local places. And it's quaint, it's cozy, it's homey. Yeah. If you want to give us money other than shopping at our store, the easiest way to do it is to become a patron of ours over on Patreon. There's all sorts of other ways. The important thing is you want to be seen, not like George Costanza.
My last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh?
Paisanos!
650 your change. Ah, yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Sì!
Vieni qua! Questa miserabile patrone!
Thank you all our patrons. I think there's a new one that's going to be put up soon. And I thank you. I still thank you. I always will thank you. Every show. And whoo, baby, this would be a good week for me to say, I'm going to take a look at that Patreon right now. I think I have a bill or two I'd like to pay, and I'd like to feel better about paying it. But yeah, thanks once again, everybody, for just joining us. I really appreciate the love. And what a big week we're going to have. Can't wait. It's going to be very calm and cool and collected. Everything's going to be back to normal this week. Everybody can just breathe in. All right, it might be at the end of the week or maybe a little bit after, but we're getting around the corner. I think the home stretch is. I mean, obviously there's an election and things like that people are going to be talking about. I try to abstain from that this time, but boy, were there some doozies. Ooh, baby. Every week there's something crazy going on, but I'll let the comedians do that. So it might get a little funky again, but we got some comic books, and like I said, we've got a lot of number ones that have come out recently that are good, things that I'm looking forward to, that I'm ashamed to be looking forward to, and obviously there's always collections that are coming out. I very rarely talk about them, as they're just kind of clunky, and I usually have to bring them in from the store. But recently, the Ultimate Spider-Man came out. There was the Mark Waid, George Perez, Brave and the Bold Volume 1 that came out. So you should definitely jump on that if you haven't seen that. I just recently took off the news shelf, put Feral into its space. So there's a bunch of books that have come out recently, and Also, there was a Corbin Volume 3 that came out. So if you're getting the Den Richard Corbin books, you should come in and get those. I have Volume 2 and Volume 3 still. So, yeah, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to cut this. Oh, let me go to comments really quick. Man, got held up on a call and missed all the new comics. You didn't miss them. Continuum. You know, I said it's a big week for DC and property comics. Should I bring 2 boxes tomorrow, Yule? Yeah. Bring a second box. It can't hurt. 2 boxes. I'll call you 2 box Fantinuum from now on. Johnny 2 boxes. That's your name. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco, trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions, and just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona were trying to figure out if he was gay. The 3 of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn. She left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam. Yes, sir.